Hello, hello, guys. We are live. And Varnit, have you joined on? Yes, you have. I'm sending you invite on Instagram. So let me just see.
All right.
Yes, Nandaji has joined. Varnit has joined. You need to just put your volume a little bit low. And
Okay.
is it done?
Yeah.
Yes. Nandaji, can you speak also so that we can just check once that we are all audible?
Hello, hello. So
Ye-
glad to be
Yes.
here with Varnit Yadav today.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, we are going to start today the episode number 6 of Thoughtful Thursday with a beautiful quotation that each new day is a new opportunity to improve yourself. Take it and make the most out of it. And somebody today we have as our guest who is, a beautiful example of this thing because every day he inspires himself to make his life better and also to make life of n number of people who take help of his clients, their life, their body, their physical well-being, mental well-being, making it amazing. So we have today with us Coach Varnit, who is a professional fitness coach. Nandaji, why don't you say a few things about him?
So warm welcome to Coach Varnit Yadav. Here is a young man who has made his journey, from humble beginnings to come up to over here, where he has done in-depth work with both mental and physical fitness, though he specializes in physical fitness. But even at this young age, he has realized that uh, just physical fitness alone is never enough. Not only this, he's somebody who has gone into studying human behavior in depth so that he can help and understand that when there are roadblocks for those people who want to become healthy but find it difficult to do so, what really stops them. So he is somebody who has really put his Jan into understanding everything about human psyche, about their physical and their mental well being. And he has treaded this path, taken on this unconventional career, and made a success of himself, not just like a Eragera Dattu. What by that I mean not flaky, but somebody who has done in depth studies about all the aspects that govern our life. So, very warm welcome to Varnit Yadav. And it's amazing having this young, good looking, fit young man with us today who would be giving us so many amazing tips of how we can improve our lives. Empowerment is not just about being able to be confident or speak well or dress well. It's about an overall well being. And that is the journey that Varnit is going to take us on today through our question answers. So, welcome
So, how do you
again.
feel, Varnit?
Yeah, I'm feeling overwhelmed a little. So, yeah, just that word, overwhelmed. And thank you so much for your kind words. I'm like glad and I'm excited to be a part of this. I've been watching your episodes and videos throughout the last year and this year as well. I'm just glad to be here.
Okay,
We
great.
are so happy to
So,
have you too.
yes. So, Varnit, I've been no, I think I know you for so many years now, and we had a long chat the other day also where I asked you that how did this journey begin and all. So, from a BTech of computer science to be in this unique profession of fitness industry, how this happened and how was it received by people also?
Okay. So, like, I wasn't even sure that I would be like completely transitioning into this field. It was the last semester of my engineering when I decided, while I was giving interviews actually for the IT jobs. So that's when I realized that these kind of jobs are not cut out for me. And then I did some self thinking and I thought, what am I good at or like just decent at? So I realized that I'm good at like going to gym. I'm going to gym. I'm consistent about it. I'm seeing results. I'm giving people advice. They are getting results. So why not give this a shot? That's how the transition happened. But like there are many layers to it. How I like transitioned myself into the fitness world. But like you said, how I transitioned from engineering to this is the only reason, because I didn't like the energy, or you can just say the vibe that those IT or corporate jobs were providing me at that point in time.
All right.
That
That's
is so
wonderful.
amazing. So that reminds me that you are a chemical engineer, right?
No, computer
Computer
science,
science.
computer science.
Computer
Yeah,
science engineer, right? And you're somebody who has excelled even in that. You've got fantastic grades, but then you decided to change your profession
yeah,
and take on something that you're more passionate about.
exactly.
We
Yeah,
already said that we know this about you, that you are somebody uh, who is who has understood that there's a very deep connection between the mind, body, and soul. Why don't you share a few thoughts on how much, according to you, is the physical and mental well being connected? Because I think this is a point that we need to keep hammering into ourselves, into everybody who connects with us.
yeah. Okay, so this reminded me of our podcast with my podcast with Coach Uzma. I did it a while ago, a few months ago. It was all about mental wellness and how it's connected somewhat to जो इसमें आपका like physical fitness के बारे में आता है. So like breaking down from the top, mental health is just as important. Physical health is also equally important. Both play a very important and significant role अपना अपने phases में, but they are closely related. Also, why I say closely related, because for example, give you a short example here. Suppose walking inside a room, just taking a 10-minute walk inside a room versus walking outside in an environment where you can see trees, skies, people, different people, you meet different people. That is a different impact on your mental health and sanity when compared to just walking inside. Overall, physically, more or less they have the same benefits, but when it comes to like mental relaxation or stress relief, those have better outcomes in that case. So that's a small example that I wanted to put in here when you are trying to correlate mental health with physical fitness.
Wow, that's
Okay.
so beautiful. Why don't you take the journey forward, Uzma?
Yes, in fact, it's so much related, and people really need to understand that, one is incomplete without the other. The way, if we are going to hamper our physical health, it is going to hamper our emotional health, and vice versa. And really, when we are going to work on one, it is going to inspire us to work on the other. And of course, in the same way, vice versa. So, diving deep into the physical fitness part and all the myths that people have, Varnit, related to it, वन क्वेश्चन मतलब ये तो ऐसे आता है ना, क्योंकि आई एम अ ह्यूज फैन ऑफ सलमान खान, और मुझे याद है हम लोग स्कूल टाइम पे ना बड़ा बोला करते थे, अरे उसने तो इंजेक्शन लगवा के बॉडी बनाई है, एंड देन वी यूज्ड टू से अरे सलमान ने तो सिर्फ एक इंजेक्शन लगवाया है, ऋतिक ने तो 10 इंजेक्शन लगवाया था. मतलब हम स्कूल में वी यूज्ड टू टॉक लाइक दिस, वी वर क्वाइट नोविस ऑफ व्हाट इट इज. So people have notions about steroids being used in fitness industry to pump up the muscles and all. So what is the reality? Is it really rampant, or there are just a few cases that it happens?
There are definitely not a few cases. People want quick results. They want instant gratification, though. So they just dive into that side of things. But it's not like I am going to judge someone who is going to choose steroids because they're
True.
consciously taking that decision. It's not like someone is forcing them to. It's a different matter entirely when someone is actually forcing them to like make sales or make business out of it. But more or less people know what they're getting into. People are conscious and they are aware what they are choosing. So it's not like it's a bad thing or there's a morality stance regarding that. But more or less you will never know like who is taking steroids or who is not. So the best you can do is probably avoid them. Like most of us, like we should avoid them. And I don't have a lot of information or like background understanding of how steroids work inside the human body, but I do know that they have their fair share of like bad effects. Like even if it's 1% in nature or 0.5%, it's bad for you. But I know there would be some kind of bad effects or negative effects associated with it, no matter how smartly you use them. So that's like my take on that. But regardless, people are aware what they are getting into. So it's like they can do it. And regarding the show business, people have to look good, so they have to choose shortcuts. So they might choose shortcut. There's no way to know unless they come
True.
out of their like room and tell the world that they are totally being transparent or honest about it.
Agreed,
That
agreed.
totally agree. And it's so nice to say that you don't judge anybody. But so truly, if shortcuts are needed, people are taking it. And like you said, most importantly, They are doing it in a space of awareness. My question is again going to go back to, understanding that we all know that gymming, there's no shortcut to building your health or becoming physically fit. Same thing, even coaches say that, you don't take one session and think that there will be a transformation. There is always a consistency that is associated with both, physical and mental fitness. I'd like to know your thoughts on that.
Okay, I use this example quite a lot, like brushing your teeth. Like you brush your teeth every day. You don't think of it as something tedious or something that's a burden to you. It's ingrained in your mind or ingrained in your head that you have to brush your teeth like once in the morning, once at night before sleeping, and so on. That's the way you should treat your basic health or your basic like any kind of health, mental or physical, both kind of health should be treated the same way. You don't have to like go crazy and do some kind of sport specific training unless that's your ambition or dream. I won't force like anyone to choose particular exercise or particular sport just because I prefer them. It's like completely up to the individual, but there are some general guidelines like be more active, even walk, just go for a walk. Like walking is a good exercise. You can do some kind of walking every day, have some balanced meal, have some fruits, have some vegetables, like be drink enough water, stay hydrated, like take care of these basic things, like your like basically your life depends on it. Like if you don't take care of it now, you will be spending a lot more money later in your life, and that's not a pretty sight for any of your family or your dependents or your partner, any of those.
Here, I just want to say this is such a nice point that Varnit said, Nandaji, that he does not force his clients or anybody suggesting something that he prefers or he likes. And this is so synonymous to the way we handle our clients as coaches. As most shift coaches, we focus on this point that, every person is unique. So you cannot fit a particular kind of way of handling a client to n number of other clients. Each person is unique. Something may work for somebody, something might not work for somebody else. So this is such a nice thing and such a beautiful approach he has. And since I know, Vane, that you are an avid reader, and somehow I love reading, but I am more of a self-proclaimed reader because I, start reading one book, then I go to another, then I go to another. But I got into that competition mode of reading more when I started watching your stories and you were putting, okay, I finished this book, I'm writing the review of this one. So I felt that now even I have to gear up in a very, healthy competition way. So, how much is reading important to stay ahead in such a profession of fitness?
uh, it's a good question, but I was trying to think of a witty answer, but I don't have one. But like yeah, like the basic is very clear. You read because you need to like train your brain muscles. So reading is a good habit to have. It's not like reading on a phone, reading on a tablet, doesn't matter. Whatever kind of reading you indulge yourself in, reading is a skill, and reading is something that is underrated. I think that is underrated at this point in time, where everything is very made for like quick attention or quick grabbing kind of thing, that you have to like just go through it. But reading takes up a lot more effort. You have to be a little more conscious, you have to make a little more effort to understand uh, how you're trying to interpret that data, because there's a chance that if you read the same paragraph 1 year later, you might have some different thoughts coming across when you read it a year ago. So that's why I find reading to be quite interesting. I reread many of the books, like even like let's just talk about Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter for all kind of so reason. So yeah, so in that case, I read Harry Potter as a fiction when I was a kid. I think I was 12 years 11 years old when I read the first part. Then I read it again after 10 years later. I felt that how the author has tried to like create a fictional world. I didn't have those thoughts when I was reading it for the first time. I was reading it from a lens of a child who is just growing up and wants to achieve this or that, and so on. So that's why reading is fascinating to me. And I read all kinds of books, even if it has the lowest reviews on Amazon or anywhere. Even if it's 1 star or 0 star, I'll just go ahead and purchase it and still read it. I think people have a lot of things to offer, and that's what I try to do on my channel. Is I just segregate that information for other people, so they don't have to like go through the whole tedious process of reading each and every book that I'm literally doing. So that's something I enjoy doing. I don't feel like something as a work or something as a burden, but I do recommend reading to everyone, even if it's like 15-20 minutes a day, 30 minutes, anything that works.
That is so amazing because you know, when you're dealing with human beings who are so dynamic, it's only when you have your mind and thoughts open, and you take in as much as information that you can, that you're able to keep up and stay ahead of the game. So I think, though I would like to ask the next question, I'd still want to pass it on to my friend, because I think this was a question that she was very keen to ask. So over to you, coach.
Thank you, Ranaji. Actually, Varnit knows this thing, and even we were joking around this thing that I often keep taking advice from Varnit about my health and everything, and he's so sweet and patient to every time explain me the things, and then I try it, but I am not that much consistent. Though I'm trying it again to be consistent now, and I update him also every night. I've completed my 5,000 steps. So, my question or our question to you is, Vane, that how do you deal with clients who wish to make a difference in to their bodies but are unable to follow this guidance? Because there can be a number of reasons. It could be emotional eating. At times, I also do that. It's not something which is very dominating in my life, but it does happen. Lethargy and procrastination, I should say, कि उसके तो भरमार है जिंदगी में, उसकी क्या ही बात की जाए. So, how do you keep that patience and calm with clients like such?
Okay, so yeah, it's very case to case dependent. It's not like there's a one size fits all approach for everyone. It depends from client to client how I deal with them in case they are procrastinating. Sometimes it's due to very lame is a very strong word, but like they have very lame reasons for the same. Like their friend called and they went out and they ate. Like it's not a strong enough reason to just go out and eat and ruin your like progress that you've been building so far. So you need to have some kind of willpower. So with experience, I have learned that I need to set the expectations straight from the day one itself. I don't just want to like waste their efforts and money and waste my time and efforts to just do things that they will just that's just not fruitful for both of us. Like with over time I have uh, I'm trying to filter out the clients that I want to deal with are who are more dedicated towards their goals. I don't want like dedication like to train for them for sports like any kind. I'm just talking about like going from point A to point B, but they do have some kind of realistic expectations. So the first thing is I try to understand the why behind it, why they are doing that particular thing which is hampering their progress. And it's not usually that simple. You have to just keep asking why until you get to the root of that problem. So that's the approach that I take. And more or less it could be any reason. It could be something of an environment stressor. It could be because they have chips lying around in their home in abundance, so that kind of thing. So improving your environment, that helps in some cases, that you remove those kind of items from your site and just put it away or give it away, something like that. Or in some cases you just have to be a little stern, and you just have to like set them straight and tell them कि अब से ये करोगे तो ऐसा ऐसा होगा. So it's up to you. Like you have to then give choices to them कि अगर आप इस route पे जाने वाले हो तो ये होगा, इस route पे जाओगे तो ये होगा. So you can choose it. So I let them choose, but I also get a थोड़ा सा little strict with them, because थोड़ा सा strictness in some cases is needed. And आई थिंक ये ज़्यादा लीनियंट होने से भी थिंग्स गेट बैड एंड टाइम वेस्ट होता है उस केस में भी. सो यू हैव टू गेट अ लिटिल स्ट्रिक्ट. यू हैव टू टेल देम कि थोड़ा सा उसको लार्जर पिक्चर, दे नीड टू सी व्हाट हैपेंस व्हेन यू चूज दिस और व्हेन यू डू दैट, like and so on. Like it's just a general overview on how I deal with these things.
That is such a beautiful input, because you have said two of the most important things. We can never impart knowledge until and unless we first have class control, or we have a control over the audience who's listening to us, to engage them to take back what we are offering. That's the first thing. And the second thing that I loved about your sharing is that you don't force, you give options and you tell the person to choose. So then the person is in awareness of, ye karne se ye hoga, ye karne se ye hoga. And I think that's such a beautiful way to deal. That's exactly how we coaches also work. And in the true spirit, you're working in the same format. Varnit, we have been very curious to understand ki, chalo, now things are opening up, and life is getting back to normal. But how did you manage when during the pandemic? Because this whole health aspect, gymming, everything is related to being there physically. And lockdown में सब कुछ बंद था. Nobody could go out anywhere, do anything. How did you go through such that phase, which lasted for 2 years more and more?
Okay, so yeah, it was like chaotic at first. Like things were closing down, people were like scared, businesses were shutting down, some people were facing losses, some are still facing losses and recovering from that pandemic, lockdown, and everything. But I had to be a little selfish there, so I'll just accept that I was selfish there, and I found a gym where the guy was closing his gym, and I got his equipments for cheap, so like almost half the price. That's how I started setting up my own home gym at house. Because I had to train my grandfather, I started training my brother, and like I just wanted to push them to do something, because सब लोग घर पे रहने वाले हैं, and it's going to be a little messy and chaotic because सब लोग पहले बाहर जाते थे, there were some interactions, people were more calm. घर पे होता है थोड़ा सा anxiety, there is a chance of anxiety जो बढ़ जाती है. So that's how I started. Regarding my own workout, I didn't have much of an issue because I've been like working out close to 6-7 years, and I don't find it something as like a burden or a task, so it wasn't something that I was struggling with. I just had to find some equipments and get started at home itself, because I had the know-how and the expertise of what can I do. The talking about clients, it took some like time to make them understand that they can still progress at home. They don't have to like regret that कि अभी जब membership ले ली तो like सब बंद हो गया and all that, because some people were like regretting कि क्यों ऐसा हो गया and all that, अब क्या फ़ायदा transform करके, या फिर why should we take those steps. So in that case I first told them कि like give yourself some time, like अपना थोड़ा सा time दो, accept what's happening around, and if you are healthy, your family is healthy, then be grateful about it, because like things are happening at a very fast rate and changing, and if you are like having these things and you're getting good food to eat, you have some access to even a pair of dumbbells, you're already in a good place already. Like I was just trying to put a better picture in front of them, instead of like uh, making them feel like giving them some kind of anxiety that you will lose your progress or some kind of that. So that's the approach that I took initially, and more or less it worked for most of my clients. The number of clients actually increased towards the end of the year, when people were locked in their home and they have gained a lot of weight and doing nothing, because earlier they used to walk to the office and had some kind of walking or physical activity going on for them, but when they are at home, they're just eating, food is coming to them, they are working on a computer or a laptop, and they're just gaining weight and not taking care of health. So all those issues later were dealt with the necessary like guidelines that I provide. But like this is the approach that I took while dealing with those clients in the starting point.
And Vanit, not to forget, the kind of recipes which were being made by all the food bloggers and
Yeah.
inspiring everybody.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
uh, this was such a wonderful, insight that you gave. I really like this approach where you did not just jumped upon the fact that you started telling the client that, okay, start doing this, that, but you actually made that person come into the awareness and become mindful and practice gratitude first, and then move forward to, working on like the fitness part. Because yes, it's very important that, you know be it, if we talk about atomic habits, or when we were in the podcast discussing the intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation, the intrinsic motivation is always the permanent one which will remain with you. And for that, first of all, getting okay with the scenario and the situation which is there is very important. So I think that was a brilliant approach. But here, one very interesting question which I feel is a funny yet a question that I feel a lot of people judge fitness, coaches, and that is also a decision maker in their choice. Do you think it is necessary that a health coach has to be brawny like Arnold Schwarzenegger, or these healthy, like heavyweight lifters? What is your thought on that? And have you also faced some situation like this in your life?
Again, it's context dependent, right? Because suppose there's a general population client and there's a bodybuilding client, then a bodybuilding client probably won't prefer someone who is skinny or lanky or doesn't have the know-how. I'm not saying those people don't exist. Great coaches do exist who have that some kind of skinny or normal physique, but they are good at what they do. But more or less, you have to walk the talk. Like you need to be at least some kind of, you need to be at least you have to set up the appearances straight, because like वो दिखता बिकता वाली चीज़ is always going to be there, you can't do anything about it. So that, so you don't have to be like the biggest guy in the room, but you have to be at least in a decent shape, and whatever you're trying to teach or promote, you should be following those things and getting results as well. Else why would someone hire you or enroll under you as a client or a mentee? So they need to understand, like the coaches also need to understand. Earlier I thought that कि like सबका ठीक है चलेगा, कोई भी कैसा भी दिखे, they should just focus on their skills and बस ठीक है हो जाएगा. But later I realized कि थोड़ा सा marketing के लिए you need to be somewhat decent looking. Again, like you don't have to be the best or you should be winning those shows or some kind of thing, but at least you need to be presentable, you need to look the part what you're trying to achieve, you need to be walking down. Basically that's why I keep sharing my number of steps as well, right? I share my steps as well, because I just don't ask people to do 10,000 steps or 8,000 steps or 5,000 steps. I also show that 10,000 steps that I have done, then I ask the questions from people that did you walk, did you work out. I post almost every day my workout videos and everything. So after doing that, that's when my poll comes in, and that's how I try to deal with things.
That is, walking the talk is, I think, really part of the profession. And that is something that we all want to live up to and do. And yet, as human beings, we do all do go through the challenges. You were just talking and sharing that आपके मन में ये विचार आते थे कि लोग ठीक ठाक से रहें, बस थोड़ा सा फिट रहे हैं, दे शुड बी एबल टू लीड अ हेल्दी लाइफ. सो इसी को बात को आगे लेते जाते हुए, एंड व्हाट उज़मा जी जस्ट शेयर्ड अबाउट द ब्रॉनी बिट, हम लोगों की सोसाइटी में ये बॉडी शेमिंग वाली बड़ी बात होती है. सो व्हाट आर योर थॉट्स ऑन दैट?
So like body shaming is also in like many form, बहुत तरह के फॉर्म में होता है वो. इवन लाइक सिर्फ बॉडी शेमिंग, लाइक मैं अगर बात करूँ सिर्फ ओबीज के लिए नहीं होता, इवन फिट लोगों को भी बॉडी शेम किया जाता है. इट्स लाइक इट्स बेसिकली फिट शेमिंग, जो वर्ड या टाइटल दे दिया जाता है कि ये क्या कर रहा है, खाना क्यों नाप के खा रहा है, या फिर ऐसे कि इस टाइम पे क्यों खा रहा है, ऐसे वर्कआउट क्यों कर रहा है, क्या लाइफ है इसकी, कुछ बोरिंग है, मतलब इस तरह की चीज़ें. इट हैपन्स टू बोथ साइड ऑफ थिंग्स, किसी का ज़्यादा तो किसी का कम. इट्स नॉट लाइक कि कोई बचा हुआ है इससे. एवरी वन गेट्स shamed in some way or the other. The only
True.
thing that you can do is like, as long as it's not like messing up with your personal private life, you just ignore and block people. Like that's what I follow, and that's what I've learned so far, that you need to do that. एंड अगर लाइक कभी आपके पास एक्स्ट्रा टाइम किसी के पास बचा हो, तो देन यू कैन डू लाइक वीकेंड पे जाके उनसे बहस कर लो, कॉरल कर लो. सो एज लॉन्ग एज योर मेंटल पीस इज नॉट बीइंग अफेक्टेड. सो आई डू दैट एज वेल ऑन टाइम्स, जब भी लाइक आई एम बोर्ड आउट ऑफ माई माइंड, सो आई नीड सम किक आउट ऑफ थिंग्स. सो that's when I do that. I get into these quarrels and arguments online. More or less people don't see that. But when it comes to body shaming, these things are ingrained, like not just now, बहुत पहले से ये सब है. But लेकिन we can always hope for a brighter future, right? So the thing is that we can work on ourselves and make sure that we are not being a part of that kind of things. Like हाँ, मजाक में करना and intentionally किसी को hurt के लिए करने के लिए करना are two different things. So you have to be mindful about what you speak or what you share. Like मेरे पे people might get offended as well, because I share sometimes offensive kind of memes, but मुझे नहीं लगता कि वो offensive है, given that so basically वहाँ पे hypocrisy का term आ जाता है, because I have seen them doing things and then they come back to me in all those manners or ways. So like it's going to be a different discussion altogether. But yeah, shaming exists and आगे भी करेगा. But it's like कि जितने भी लोग में अवेयरनेस हो जाए एंड पीपल नो व्हाट इज़ लाइक उसका क्या बैड आउटकम हो सकता है, या फिर लाइक मेंटली कितना इफेक्ट करता है. बिकॉज देयर आर मेनी टाइम्स कि लोग जिम नहीं जाते बिकॉज किसी ने उसको लाइक फैट बोल दिया या इस तरह से टीज़ कर दिया, समथिंग लाइक दैट. सो ये सब चीज़ें होती हैं, एंड आई डोंट अग्री विद ऑल दोज काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स. सो या पीपल नीड टू बी अवेयर, लाइक उनके बोलने से किसको कैसे फ़र्क पड़ रहा है. योर फ्रेंड्स माइट टेक दैट जोक, बट दूसरा इंसान मे बी वो जोक ना ले पाए. सो लाइक वहाँ पे वो बैलेंस देखना पड़ता है. यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड पीपल, यू नीड टू टॉक टू पीपल. वो तभी टाइम के साथ ही आने वाला है. प्लस आई डोंट थिंक देर आर लॉट ऑफ रिसोर्सेज जो अपने को लाइक बेसिक लेवल पे इस तरह की चीज़ें सिखाई जाती हैं. आई मीन लाइक मेरा थोड़ा सा बायस्ड है कि एजुकेशन सिस्टम इज़ नॉट अप टू डेट लाइक काफ़ी टाइम से. सो दैट नीड्स टू चेंज एज वेल व्हेन इट कम्स टू टॉकिंग अबाउट ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स ऑल टुगेदर.
So true. In fact, the very right point you said, Varnit, ki it's so much ingrained that at times people do not realize that they are practicing body shaming. Like if we see our family and relatives out of love, also they would say certain things like, which may have such an effect on the child or the kid of the family. That people would feel, अरे हमने तो ऐसा कुछ कहा ही नहीं था, our intention was not like that, but then it is so deep rooted that immediately I remember, even I shared in some of the lives also previously, that I met my friend online after such a long time, my college friend, and rather than asking me, hi Uzma, how are you, long time no see, the first thing she said, ये तो खा खा के मोटी हुई है या बैठ बैठ के मोटी हुई है. So this was the first thing, and she might have taken it in a, like, that liberty with me, that she can joke with me. She was close to me during graduation, but it did have a bad effect on me. I mean, that day my entire day went in a foul mood, because I felt that, I mean, how can you do that with somebody? चलो यार, एक दिन का तो टाइम ले लेते हैं ना पहले, थोड़ा सा हाय हेलो करने का. So yeah, I do feel that this happens. And education system mein, it's very important that these kind of social norms should be taught to the kids, so that they understand what to speak and what not to speak, even how to react in front of physically challenged or disabled people. Our kids do not know how to react, so this is also very important. Now, connecting it to the next question, Vanit, because body shaming hoti hai, so people get a lot, emotionally hurt, and then they go to extreme steps of, losing weight. Out of which there is one thing which is becoming very famous these days, that's intermittent fasting. I have mixed, notions about it. I would really like to know a perspective of a fitness coach. That is intermittent fasting a fad, or does it really work?
So it's basically a tool like एग्जाम्पल इसके एनालॉजी एक मैं यूज़ करता हूँ क्वाइट कॉमनली लाइक लेट्स टॉक अबाउट कार ए एंड कार बी. सो कार ए एंड कार बी से आपको एक्स से वाई पॉइंट पे जाना है. वाई तक आप चाहे ए से जाओ बी से जाओ, डजेंट मैटर. सो इंटरमीडियंट फास्टिंग आपका कार ए हो गया, बी आपका नॉर्मल 3 टाइम्स अ मील डाइट हो गया. दोनों से आपको रिजल्ट सेम मिलना है. इट्स लाइक अप टू यू आपको कौन सी कार पसंद आ रही है. यू जस्ट हैव टू चूज़ एंड गो विद वट एवर वर्क्स फॉर यू. लाइक किसी के लिए इंटरमीडियंट फास्टिंग वर्क्स लाइक अ चार्म, उनको लाइक बहुत अच्छा लगता है, दे फील एनर्जेटिक उसमें भी. एंड कुछ लोगों को, जैसे पर्सनली मुझे इंटरमीडियंट फास्टिंग नहीं पसंद है. आई फील लो ऑन एनर्जी, आई फील क्रैंकी अगर मैंने तीनों टाइम अपना मील नहीं लिया, इफ़ नॉट 4 टाइम्स. तो दैट्स नॉट फॉर एवरी वन. इट्स नॉट लाइक कि अगर किसी के लिए काम कर रहा है तो दैट विल वर्क फॉर यू. आई वोंट कॉल इट अ फैड. लाइक इट वर्क्स फॉर सम पीपल. पीपल इन्जॉय लाइक फास्टिंग करना, गिवन दैट वो अपना डेली न्यूट्रिशन वैल्यू बाकी जो फास्टिंग के बाद कवर कर ले रहे हैं, तो देन इट्स अ फाइन चॉइस. उनका चॉइस है कि खाना है नहीं खाना है. कई लोगों को ईटिंग डिसऑर्डर भी डेवलप हो जाते हैं कि 8 घंटा नहीं खाया तो सोचते रहते हैं कब खाना मिलेगा कब खाना मिलेगा. तो इन दैट केस क्यों करना है वो चीज़, व्हेन इट्स मेसिंग विद योर माइंड. सो डोंट डू दैट. सो वहाँ पे लाइक यहाँ पे फिर वो क्लाइंट को समझने वाली बात हो जाती है कि वॉट दे हैव बीन डूइंग बचपन से या फिर फॉर द पास्ट कपल ऑफ मंथ्स और ईयर्स. उनका रूटीन कैसा है, देन उसके बेसिस पे यू मेक द बेस्ट डिसीजन. सो तो इट्स लाइक कि कई बार क्लाइंट्स आस्क मी कि बोलते हैं कि इंटरमीडियंट फास्टिंग वाला आप डाइट कर दो मेरे लिए, वो मेरे को अच्छा रहता है. तो लाइक आई जस्ट आस्क देम कि अगर आपके लिए अच्छा रहता है तो आप मेरे से हेल्प क्यों मांग रहे हो. फिर मतलब ऐसा थोड़ा सा मैं ब्लंट हो जाता हूँ उस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम में. तो आई थिंक वो बैलेंस मेंटेन करके चलना चाहिए, बट इट्स नथिंग इज़ कंपल्सरी और मैंडेटरी. सो वो डिपेंड करता है कि अगर आपके लिए वर्क कर रहा है देन गो फॉर इट. नहीं वर्क कर रहा है, देयर इज़ नो कंपल्शन कि उससे एक्स्ट्रा एडेड बेनिफिट्स आपको कुछ मिल जाएगा. मोर और लेस अगर आप जनरल पॉपुलेशन क्लाइंट हो, आपको थोड़ा सा वेट लॉस करना है या हेल्दी रहना है, तो आप 3 डेज भी 3 टाइम्स अ डे भी खा सकते हो, 4 टाइम्स अ डे भी खा सकते हो, 5 टाइम्स भी खा सकते हो, चाहे आप एक टाइम भी खा लो. बट लाइक वो डिपेंड करता है आपका गोल क्या है. गोल पे भी डिपेंड करती हैं चीज़ें. सपोज इफ़ यू आर ट्राइंग टू बिल्ड मसल, तो ऑप्टिमली इंटरमीडियंट फास्टिंग करके वो पूरा आपको बेनिफिट नहीं मिलेगा उस केस में. सो उस टाइम आपको 3 मील्स का थोड़ा सा एज मिलता है, तो यू शुड चूज़ दैट. सो इट्स लाइक ऐसे केस टू केस डिपेंड करता है, बट इट्स नॉट अ फैड. मतलब एनी वे फैड इसलिए नहीं है बिकॉज इट वर्क्स. इसलिए नहीं कि वो इंटरमीडियंट फास्टिंग है उससे मैजिकल इफेक्ट कुछ मिल रहा है. इट्स लाइक इट वर्क्स द सेम एज आपके दूसरे डाइट. कैलोरीज आप दोनों में सेम कंटिन्यू करोगे खाना, तो दोनों से आपको सेम रिजल्ट मिलेगा. कौन उसके साथ ज़्यादा सस्टेन कर पाता है उस चीज़ को, वो मैटर करता है उस वे में. तो that's what my take is on intermittent fasting.
इस फास्टिंग के बात को लेकर एंड पहले का जो हम लोगों ने इसके बारे में बात किया अबाउट द बॉडी शेमिंग. Excuse me, I wanted to ask you that लोग अपने आप को सुंदर दिखाने के लिए दे डू सच मेस्ड अप फास्टिंग थिंग्स और मेस्ड अप ईटिंग करते हैं कि दे आइदर बिकम एनोरेक्सिक या वो बुलीमिया में चले जाते हैं, दे स्टार्ट, दे बिकम बुलीमिक। तो इसके ऊपर आपका, बुलीमिया के ऊपर आपके क्या थॉट्स है? बिकॉज it's really a concern about, and this we see a lot in the young girls who are so caught up in the body, wanting to the beautify the body and look good and have those figures, और वो बाबी डॉल वाला जो इतना कुछ मार्केटिंग करके लोगों के, लड़कियों के मन में बैठा दिया that this is the ideal kind of way you need to look. So this has been, the yo-yoing for a lot of young girls. I'd like to know your thoughts on this.
ओके, सो जहाँ पे ईटिंग डिसऑर्डर कंसर्न होता है या फिर जहाँ पे बुलीमिक केसेस का मतलब लाइक आर इन कंसर्न, सो वो मेरे स्कोप से एक्चुअली बाहर चली जाती हैं चीज़ें। देन वहाँ पे एक साइक कंसल्ट का आई थिंक वहाँ पे हेल्पफुल रहती है चीज़ें, बिकॉज देयर आर बिगर इश्यूज टू फिक्स देन जस्ट फूड। तो फूड वहाँ पे सिर्फ इशू नहीं रहता है, फूड इज़ लाइक अ इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग जो आपके डे टू डे रूटीन को मैटर करता है, बट लाइक अगर कोई साइकोलॉजिकल कंसर्न है या उसके अराउंड कोई चीज़ है, तो आई आस्क द पर्सन टू लाइक कंसल्ट समवन, उनके बेसिस पे उनको क्या एडवाइस मिलता है, क्या ट्रीटमेंट, जो भी मतलब मेडिकेशन, इफ़ नॉट मेडिकेशन, लाइक क्या बेसिक स्टेप्स टू लाइक डील विद दैट, उसके बेसिस पे आई प्रोसीड फॉरवर्ड। लाइक मैं अपना लाइक इसमें थॉट्स नहीं ऐड कर सकता हूँ, बिकॉज वो एक्चुअली मेरे स्कोप से बाहर चला जाता है जो प्रैक्टिस है मेरा।
We
आई
understand.
आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड कि न्यूट्रिशन कैसे हैंडल करना है, एक्सरसाइज कैसे इंप्रूव करना है, हाउ टू गेट यू फ्रॉम वन फिजिक टू दैट फिजिक। आपको आर्म स्ट्रॉन्ग करने तो उसके लिए आई विल टेल यू क्या करना चाहिए, आपको स्पोर्ट्स खेलना है तो उसमें क्या मसल्स इन्वॉल्व होनी, ये सब चीज़ों के बारे में आई कैन टॉक अबाउट एंड डिस्कस। बट व्हेन इट कम्स टू साइकोलॉजी तो वो मेरे से फील्ड से एक्चुअली बाहर चला जाता है। बट या दैट्स एन इम्पॉर्टेंट टॉपिक एज वेल, क्योंकि आई हैव एक्सपीरियंस सम केसेस इन दिस, एंड मैंने लाइक आई डिडंट प्रोसीड फॉरवर्ड विद दोज ट्रेनिंग बिकॉज उनके इश्यूज़ अलग थे। सो आई आस्क्ड हिम टू गेट अ कंसल्ट, एंड जब कंसल्ट उन्होंने किया तो ऑटोमेटिकली उनकी लाइफस्टाइल भी सुधर गई उसके साथ, दे डिडंट इवन नीड माय हेल्प एट दैट टाइम। सो इट्स इंटर रिलेटेड एज वेल। सो पीपल नीड टू फाइंड कि वो अपना गोल अचीव क्यों करना चाह रहे हैं। द वाई इज़ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग यहाँ पे। वाई अगर टेम्परेरी कुछ बेसिस पे है कि मुझे कॉलेज जाना है, हीरो बनना है, सिर्फ एक महीने का टाइप चीज़ है, तो या किसी का फिर वाई होता है कि मेरे को अपना डायबिटीज़ को कंट्रोल करना है, तो वो थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग वाई हो जाता है। आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि किसी का वाई कंपेयर करना चाहिए, बट इट्स लाइक कि मैटर करती हैं चीज़ें कि आप क्यों चीज़ क्या कर रहे हो और कैसे करना चाह रहे हो। सो या दैट्स माई टेक ऑन इट।
Thank
Okay,
you.
just take a moment here, Varnit, because I just checked. I'm able to hear you on Insta. Nandaji, would you speak a line that are you also audible? Let me check.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, you are also. That's okay because somebody wrote that no voice, but I checked that Varnit was also clearly audible, and so
Okay.
are you. Right. So here, you gave such an amazing and in-depth, your thought process about eating disorders, and very rightly you said that people's goals and their whys are very important. We also, often when we are talking to people and when we carry forward with the client coaching, this is the basic thing that we ask: what's your why? And whenever there is some kind of lack of motivation, also we keep telling them go back to your why, and that is also which is going to give you that energy and empower you again to move forward. Now there are this is also one thing I remember, Vanit, once you did one collaboration with a health product, and after that you shared also on your story that I would not do it anymore. So talking about these health products which are prevalent in the market, are they really healthy? What is your take on that? And also adding this concept of supplements, like should a person take it, and like I am as a person and as I would say a novice in terms of too much of nitty gritties of health, I am very confused with these concepts of health products and supplements. So could you throw some light on that?
Okay, so like first of all, people shouldn't treat supplements as like something artificial or unnatural. Like when you think of it, everything comes from Earth only. So वैसा logical fallacy is always going to be exist, like going to exist वैसे. But talking about supplements, like suppose let's talk about deficiencies. Deficiencies किसी को भी हो सकता है, more बहुत common होता है, vitamin D, B12, ये deficiencies बहुत common है. सो जब आप लाइक ब्लड टेस्ट कराते हो देन यू फाइंड आउट कि ये सब लो है, इसके भी साइड इफेक्ट्स आपको पता चल रहे हैं, तो देन फिर वो आप उसको सप्लीमेंट की तरह नहीं, आपको फिर वो लाइक मजबूरी हो जाता है। तो इस चीज़ को वैसे आपको ट्रीट करना चाहिए, क्योंकि सप्लीमेंट आर हेल्पफुल, जहाँ पे डेफिशिएंट हो तो आप क्यों नहीं उससे यूज़ करके करोगे। तो यू डोंट हैव टू लाइक, उससे डरने वाली बात नहीं है कि आपको सप्लीमेंट देखा तो लाइक उल्टा भाग रहे हैं, वो चीज़ नहीं रखना चाहिए अप्रोच में। देयर आर लाइक मिलावट वाले सप्लीमेंट्स एंड फेक सप्लीमेंट्स इन द मार्केट जो घूमते रहते हैं, बट यू नीड टू चूज़ अ क्रेडिबल सोर्स जहाँ से आप ले रहे हो, लेजिट सोर्स होगा तो आपको ढंग का सप्लीमेंट मिलेगा। सो यू नीड टू मेक स्मार्टर चॉइस वैसे। बाकी सप्लीमेंट्स लाइक अगर इवन टॉकिंग अबाउट दोज प्रोटीन पाउडर्स लाइक वे प्रोटीन जो होता है बेसिकली, सो दे आर कम्प्लीटली सेफ, वो मिल्क से बनता है, मिल्क का ही फिल्टर्ड फॉर्म है एक तरह से। सो यू कैन सेफली कंज्यूम दैट, लाइक इवन आई कंज्यूम वे प्रोटीन, मुझे ऑलमोस्ट 6 साल होने वाला है खाते हुए उसको, ऑलमोस्ट डेली बेसिस पे खाया, कुछ टाइम छूट गया होगा, बट लाइक इट्स कम्प्लीटली सेफ टू कंज्यूम। सो अगर किसी के डाइट में लाइक वो खा नहीं पाए, सपोज समवन इज़ वीगन, तो उनको ऑप्शन रहता है कि सप्लीमेंट करने का कुछ चीज़ों को, जो अगर वो डाइट से कंप्लीट नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, तो वो एक तरह से उनका वो फूड ही बन गया है, वो एक तरह उसको सप्लीमेंट, आप कह रहे हो कि सप्लीमेंट इज देयर टू लाइक कंप्लीट दैट गैप, जो मिसिंग चीज़ें हैं वहाँ पे, उसके लिए वो आपका काम आता है। सो आई डोंट थिंक यू शुड लाइक स्केयर समवन या खुद को भी इनफैक्ट कि सप्लीमेंट्स आर समथिंग बैड, या नेगेटिव कॉनोटेशन उसके साथ अटैच नहीं करना चाहिए, बिकॉज नेगेटिव जो कॉनोटेशंस है वो मीडिया का काम होता ही है अटैच करके उसको टीआरपी बढ़ाने वाला। सो दैट्स देयर जॉब, सो दैट्स वाई इट्स का इतना डिमोनाइजेशन होता रहता है, न्यूज़पेपर हो चाहे ट्विटर पे ट्रेंड कर जाए या कुछ भी हो जाए, तो लाइक दीज थिंग्स आर कॉमन। सो लाइक जो अच्छा चीज़ें हैं वो थोड़ा सा बोरिंग रहता है, लाइक मोनोटोनस रहता है, उसमें कुछ मसाला नहीं मिलता, तो वाई वुड दे प्रमोट दैट। सो बेसिकली ये फंडा है। सो दे आर कम्प्लीटली सेफ टू कंज्यूम गिवन दैट यू आर बाइंग फ्रॉम अ लेजिट सोर्स, आपको डेफिशिएंसी है, गेट अ सप्लीमेंट।
ये मसाले की बात से मुझे याद आया कि अगर जो एक अक्सर होता है कि चटपटा मसालेदार खाना खाना लोगों को बड़ा अच्छा लगता है, and a lot of times it borders around unhealthy eating habits where बाहर का कुछ चटपटा खा रहे हैं, रोड साइड का स्ट्रीट फूड खा रहे हैं, and all that. तो इसका हमारे फिजिकल हेल्थ पे और इसके साथ साथ हमारे इमोशंस पे क्या इफेक्ट होता है कोच? व्हाट डू यू फील अबाउट इट?
सो इस चीज़ का डिपेंड होता है कि आप कितनी बार बाहर खा रहे हो एक्चुअली। अगर 15 दिन में एक बार खा रहे हो तो इट्स गुड, लाइक आपका मूड भी अच्छा हो गया, आपने फ्रेंड्स के साथ आउटिंग कर ली, यू एंजॉयड अ मील विद योर फैमिली और लव्ड वंस, ऐसा है। बट अगर आप रोज़ जाके तीनों मील ही बाहर खा रहे हो तो बस वो बेसिकली आप अपने को टेम्प्रेरी हैप्पीनेस दे रहे हो, और खाने में लाइक वो ढूंढ रहे हो चीज़ जो सुकून या प्लेजर कह सकते हैं। सो दैट्स नॉट अ हेल्दी रिलेशनशिप टू हैव विद, लाइक ये मेरा सॉर्ट ऑफ अपना बायस है कि ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए। लाइक आई एम नॉट लाइक, मैं कभी इसको नहीं बोलता हूँ कि पिज़्ज़ा या बर्गर्स ये सब ख़राब है, बट लाइक अगर आपकी आदत में रोज़ खाने का है तब मैं उस केस में अवॉइड करने को बोलूँगा ऑल टुगेदर। फर्स्ट फिक्स योर रूटीन लाइफस्टाइल, फिर उसके बाद में आप देख सकते हो इंट्रोड्यूस करना, मे भी हो सकता है 2 महीने बाद आपको खुद ही ना मन करे उसको खाने का। सो इस तरह से अप्रोच रखता हूँ, बट इट्स लाइक कि आप खा सकते हो, इट्स नॉट बैड। वो लाइक फूड है, उसको उनका लाइक जो रेस्टोरेंट्स हैं, जो होटल्स हैं, सब उनका लाइक मेजर वर्क ही है, उस पर शेफ़ काम करते हैं कि उसको और अपीलिंग और टेस्टी कैसे बनाया जाए। सो अब उनका जॉब दैट वही है, बट लेकिन आपका ये जॉब नहीं कि आपको जाके सारे दिन उनका डिश टेस्ट करना है। सो इस चीज़ को लाइक वो बैलेंस ढूंढना पड़ेगा आपको कि कहाँ पे आपकी हेल्थ ख़राब हो रही है, कहाँ पे लाइक यू आर एंजॉइंग। तो वो बैलेंस, यू इफ़ यू जस्ट फाइंड एंड स्ट्राइक द राइट बैलेंस, यू आर गुड टू गो। लाइक आप ओकेजनली इन्जॉय करो, फैमिली के साथ इवेंट्स में जाओ, ऐसे ऐसे रख सकते हो। तो ऐसे दैट्स माई अप्रोच।
So
दैट्स
like as
वंडरफुल।
people, like as people say, Varnit, कि कोई नहीं ना, मेरी कैलोरी आज का डेफिसिट मैं एक रसगुल्ला खा लेता हूँ एंड देन इट्स गुड टू गो। तो डू यू फील वैसा चलेगा?
सो एक रसगुल्ला वाली चीज़ नहीं है, इट्स लाइक कि पहले तो लोगों को सीखना पड़ेगा कि मतलब अगर थोड़ा सा सीरियस होना चाहते हैं तो दे नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि खाने को ट्रैक कैसे किया जाता है। यू डोंट हैव टू ट्रैक फूड अपना लाइफ टाइम, बट एक तरह से ना कि जब आप थोड़ा सा टाइम स्पेंड करोगे, 6 महीने 8 महीने 1 साल, तो उसके बाद आपको आइडिया लग जाता है कि आप कितना खा रहे हो, फिर आई बॉलिंग करके भी आप प्रोसीड कर सकते हो। बट वो आई बॉलिंग करने के लिए भी आपको आनी चाहिए चीज़ें, पहले जो बेसिक स्किल्स हैं, जब वो आ जाएगी उसके बाद चीज़ें आर ईजियर, लाइक फिर अपने फैमिली के लिए, अपने लिए, सबके लिए, लाइक वो बैलेंस्ड मील वाला चीज़ हो जाएगा मोर और लेस। तो लाइक इस तरह का वही लर्निंग कर्व है, टाइम के साथ आप सीखते हो, देन यू गेट बेटर एट इट, आप दूसरों को भी सिखाते हो, तो इस तरह से थिंग्स कंपाउंड।
जब हम लोग बैठे थे आपके लिए क्वेश्चंस बनाने के लिए, तो हम लोगों के मन में ये आया कि वी वर जस्ट गोइंग थ्रू अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स, द ट्रेंड्स, the various things that are happening, how physical mental health is connected. knowing about your interest. One thing, एक थोड़ी संजीदगी वाली बात हम दोनों के मन में आई कि रिसेंट पास्ट में हम लोगों ने वेल नोन बॉलीवुड ट्रॉलीवुड के लोगों को वी सीन देम जस्ट कोलैप्स, और ये भी हुआ है कि वो उनका कोलैप्सिंग हुआ अराउंड द जिम हुआ या वाइल दे वर जिमिंग हुआ। तो ये एक मिथ हो गया है कि रिगरस जिमिंग से मौत हो जाती है, एंड एक अजीब सा डर बैठ गया लोगों के मन में। तो क्योंकि ये मिथ है और ये डर भी है, तो और मे बी इसमें कुछ सच्चाई भी है, आई वुड लाइक यू एज एन एक्सपर्ट टू टॉक अबाउट इट एंड गिव अस सम क्लैरिटी दैट इज इट अ मिथ, इज देयर समथिंग टू बी केयरफुल अबाउट, या व्हाट डू यू फील?
ओके सो हाँ, लाइक अभी मैंने पहले भी एक राइट चीज़ बोली थी, राइट, कि मेंशन किया था कि जो सेलिब्रिटीज़ होते हैं या जो भी होते हैं उनका लाइक फेम ऑलरेडी एग्जिस्ट करता है। अभी मेरे पड़ोस में किसी को डायबिटीज़ से डेथ होगा तो उसका नहीं आएगा कि वो इतना खाता था उसकी वजह से उसकी डेथ हो गई, ऐसा नहीं आएगा कभी। आप लाइक आप यू विल नो, यू प्रॉब्ली नो अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल जो ऐसे ऐसे किस केस में लाइक इवन एडमिट हुए हैं हॉस्पिटल में इमरजेंसीज में, इवन इफ दे आर बेटर नाउ, बट लाइक ऐसा हुआ होगा कि वो बस नॉर्मल खा रहे हैं, ज़्यादा खा रहे हैं, हेल्थ का ध्यान नहीं रख रहे, दे आर इन हॉस्पिटल। कई लोग बीपी की दवा रेगुलर बेसिस पे खा रहे हैं, बट इसको नहीं चलाता है मीडिया बिकॉज वो लाइक हाइप नहीं क्रिएट करता, जनरेट नहीं करता। यस, सो आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि अगर डेथ हो रही तो सबको आप लाइक पिन पॉइंट कर सकते हो क्यों कैसे हो रही है, एंड डेफिनेटली नॉट जिम की वजह से, बिकॉज जो प्रोज हैं वो कॉन्स को आउटवे करते हैं। फॉर एग्जांपल कि आपको पता है कि अगर आप फ्लाइट से जा रहे हो तो फ्लाइट कभी भी बूम कर सकती है, बट लेकिन तब भी आप जा रहे हो फ्लाइट से, राइट, बिकॉज आपको एक पॉइंट से दूसरे पॉइंट जाना है, ना आई नो कि आपको भी पता है कि सेफली आप पहुंच जाओगे, बट देयर इज़ ऑलवेज अ चांस कि कुछ मिसहैप हो सकता है। तो सेम गोज़ फॉर लाइक एवरीथिंग इन द लाइफ एज वेल, कि सपोज़ मैं अगर वॉक भी करने जा रहा हूँ नॉर्मल, अगर मैं सपोज़ एग्स लेने जा रहा हूँ मार्केट से, तो एक कार आके मेरे को ठोक देगी, तो दैट मीन्स कि मैं एग्स खाता हूँ इसलिए कार ने ठोक दिया। तो वो चीज़ वाला सा यहाँ पे वो हो जाता है इशू, मुझे जो मैं देखता हूँ कि क्यों लोग कैसे इसको रिलेट करते हैं। तो कॉजेशन कोरिलेशन वाला चीज़ का थोड़ा सा फंडा इधर बैठता है। तो दैट्स वाई से बाकी लाइक जो सेलिब्रिटीज़ हैं जो अगर ड्रग्स यूज़ कर रहे हैं तो उसका अलग मैंने बोला कि होता ही है, मतलब कि ऐसा ऐसा कुछ ना कुछ होता है फॉर्म में, वी कैंट एवर नो, लाइक वो लोग कुछ डिस्क्लोज नहीं करेंगे। बाकी आके लाइक ऑनेस्टली सब लोग नहीं बताते हैं कि उन्होंने क्या ड्रग्स लिया, या अगर लिया भी या नहीं लिया, या क्या रूटीन था, या कितने एक्सट्रीम लेवल पे वो डाइटिंग कर रहे थे। तो एक्सट्रीम्स मोर और लेस सबके बस की बात नहीं होती है। तो लोग लेकिन मोस्टली एक्सट्रीम्स को अपीलिंग समझते हैं। अगर मैं डाइट डाउन होकर एकदम रिप्ड होके एब्स दिखाऊंगा तो उस पर मेरे 400 लाइक्स आ जाएंगे, अगर मैं ज्ञान की बात डालूंगा तो 100 ही लाइक आएंगे, इवन दो वो ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ होगी। तो ये बेसिक सा फंडा है कि ये चीज़ें क्यों ऐसे वर्क करती हैं। तो मैं इसीलिए बोलता हूँ कि लाइक जो लाइफस्टाइल डिसऑर्डर से जो डेथ्स हो रही हैं, डायबिटीज़ के पेशेंट्स बढ़ रहे हैं, वो उसका नंबर इज़ फार मोर देन जो जिम के जो आइसोलेटेड इंसिडेंट में या डेथ हो रही है, कुछ हो रही है। बिकॉज डेथ तो लाइक होती रहती है, आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि डेथ को अवॉइड कर सकते हैं, बट लाइक हाँ, अपने हेल्थ लाइफस्टाइल को जो सुधारना है उसके लिए छोटे स्टेप्स लेने चाहिए। एक्सट्रीम स्टेप लेने से कुछ केसेस में हेल्प होगी, बट मोरलेस पहले थोड़ा खुद को एजुकेट करना चाहिए कि आप स्टार्ट कहाँ से करते हो, स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट सबका अलग होता है। तो लाइक या दैट्स व्हाट आई वांटेड टू टॉक अबाउट दिस इस टॉपिक पे। लाइक आई हैव अ लॉट मोर टू से, बट लाइक हाँ, जो रेलेवेंट मुझे लगा दैट आई एडेड।
दिस इज सो अमेजिंग वारनित। आई मीन आपको सुनते हुए ना इस वक्त ऐसा फील हो रहा है, आप इतने सादगी के साथ इतने सिंपल पॉइंट्स बता रहे हैं, बट दे आर सो डीप एंड सो अमेजिंग दैट इट्स रियली गोना, आई मीन it is going to impact a lot of audience of ours and our young, brigade who are watching us. And I'm really glad that my mother is also watching us on live on YouTube, because I really wanted her to listen to you that deaths are not happening because of joining gym. But that another trend which is there these days, and in our previous thoughtful Thursdays also I discussed a similar point with our guest Aisha, but it was more towards the skin part. But I do feel, and there may be a lot of eyebrows which might be raised while asking this question, people who advocate body positivity. But I also feel this thing that a lot of people, and you've shared a few memes also on this, that people are using these days this concept of body positivity as an excuse to shy away from working out or leading a healthy lifestyle. Like, मैं हूँ जैसी हूँ, बट मैं हूँ जैसी हूँ के बाद अगर आपको पता है that you have to work on it, and then also you are like holding that rigidity, I mean, I think it's not right. What are your views about it, Vanith?
सो रिसेंटली मैंने like a fellow coach shared इसी पे ही similar thoughts, so I resonated quite strongly with that. So I think the quote was, जो original sentence था on which he shared his thought was कि the quotation was accept yourself for who you are वाला something is, ऐसा कुछ था. The coach said, और जो I agree with that as well, कि अगर आप अनहेल्दी हो, अगर आप बर्डन बन रहे हो अपने फैमिली पे, अगर आप जैसे हो उस वे में दूसरों का नुकसान हो रहा है, तो यू डोंट हैव टू बी व्हाट यू आर, यू हैव टू इम्प्रूव, यू हैव टू वर्क ऑन योर सेल्फ एंड यू हैव टू फिक्स दोज थिंग्स जो लाइक अफेक्ट कर रही है चीज़ों को. अगर आप अच्छे से कर रहे हो, बेसिक आपकी डिसेंसी से मेरा मतलब ये नहीं कि सम पीपल आर लाइक, सबका अपना बिहेवियर होता है राइट. सो बट इट्स लाइक कि बेसिक अगर आप वैल्यू थोड़ी थोड़ी प्रोवाइड कर रहे हो, अपना डे टू डे टास्क कर रहे हो, किसी पे लाइक बर्डन टाइप से नहीं बन रहे हो, तो देन एक्सेप्ट योर सेल्फ फॉर हु यू आर. बट अगर आपका जो एक्सेप्टेंस वो बस एक एस्केप है अपने को अवॉइड करना चीज़ों से, देन यू डोंट हैव टू एक्सेप्ट. लाइक मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि किसी ने ज़्यादा वेट गेन कर लिया तो दे आर द अनहेल्दीएस्ट पीपल ऑन द प्लैनेट, दे शुड लूज वेट, ऐसा नहीं है. पीपल गेन सम फैट एंड दे आर स्टिल हेल्दी, वो इशू नहीं होता है. द इशू इज़ व्हेन द रेट ऑफ गेन इज़ सो हाई, देन चीज़ें उनके अराउंड और उनकी बॉडी पे बहुत ज़्यादा इफेक्ट कर रही है. ब्लड मार्कर्स उनके इधर उधर हो गए हैं, 10 तरह की बीमारियाँ आ रही हैं, 15 गोली दिन की खा रहे हैं, तो दैट्स नॉट समथिंग यू शुड एक्सेप्ट. दैट यू कैन फिक्स दैट, वो आप अर्ली स्टेजेस पे फिक्स कर सकते हो, तो एंड यू शुड फिक्स दैट. बट मैं जाके अनसॉलिसिटेड एडवाइस नहीं दूंगा किसी को कि अरे आप मोटे हो गए जाके दवा खाओ, मैं ये एक्सरसाइज को ऐसे नहीं बोलूँगा. बट इट्स लाइक कि अगर मेरा बेसिक एक है कि मेरा फ़र्ज सॉर्ट ऑफ बनता है कि आई टेल पीपल इन केस यू आर गेनिंग वेट लाइक काफ़ी टाइम से एंड यू आर फीलिंग लेथार्जिक, यू आर गेटिंग आउट ऑफ ब्रेथ, यू आर फीलिंग आउट ऑफ शेप, यू आर नॉट फीलिंग कॉन्फिडेंट, तो ये सब चीज़ें आपके डे टू डे प्रोसेस को अफेक्ट करती हैं मोर देन यू थिंक. सो यू नीड टू फिक्स दैट उस केस में. बिकॉज इवन जैसे अगर किसी का 2 kg भी वेट लूज हो जाता है एंड दे फील लाइक मेरा टी शर्ट अब अच्छे से आ रहा है, तो उनका कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल अलग ही लेवल पे बूस्ट कर जाता है. सो चेजिंग एस्थेटिक्स इज़ नॉट अ बैड थिंग एज वेल. मतलब आप जब थोड़ा सा जिम जाते हो, बॉडी शेप में आता है एंड यू फील गुड अबाउट इट, तो कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल ऑटोमेटिकली हाई होता है. सो बेसिकली मेरा भी ऐसे ही हाई हुआ था जी, बिकॉज उससे पहले मैं मैं तो रिकॉर्ड किया, मैं कैमरे से भी नहीं बात कर सकता था, अभी तो 2 लोगों के साथ डिस्कस कर रहा हूँ चीज़ें. सो दैट्स हाउ आई गेन कॉन्फिडेंस अपना टाइम के साथ, बिकॉज आई स्टार्टेड वर्किंग ऑन माई सेल्फ एंड जब कंसिस्टेंट हुआ देन आई स्टार्टेड शेयरिंग वॉट वर्क फॉर मी. बट यहाँ पे पीपल नीड टू बी अवेयर कि उनको एक्सेप्ट नहीं करना है इस तरह से कुछ भी ख़राब चीज़ है तो डेफिनेटली एक्सेप्ट नहीं करना है. इफ़ यू आर लाइक एकदम नाइव है, एकदम कुछ नहीं कर रहे हैं ढंग से एंड फिर भी बोल रहे हैं कि एक्सेप्ट करना है, तो दैट डजंट मेक सेंस. यू विल गेट थोड़ा सा बैकलैश मिलेगा, बिकॉज सोसाइटी को है ना कि सब लोग कुछ ना कुछ वैल्यू प्रोवाइड करते हैं, चाहे कम या ज़्यादा, तभी थोड़ा सा हार्मनी मेंटेन होगी, सैनिटी रहेगी. लोगों को लगता है कि उसने मेरे लिए किया, मैंने उसके लिए वो किया. और प्लस जब आप बर्डन नहीं रहते हो अपने किसी भी फैमिली मेम्बर पे, दैट्स अ बिग डील. बिकॉज मोरलेस ओल्ड एज के टाइम पे, मैं इसको बर्डन एज एन लाइक नेगेटिव वे में नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि इट्स लाइक कि फिर बच्चों पे जिम्मेदारी होता है कि दे हैव टू टेक केयर ऑफ द पेरेंट्स. बट अगर पेरेंट्स ऑलरेडी बहुत अच्छे लाइफस्टाइल या हेल्दी रूटीन में, तो चांसेस आर कि उनको हेल्प की नीड नहीं पड़ेगी, वो लोग भी इक्वली पार्टिसिपेट कर सकते हैं चीज़ों में. देयर आर लॉट मोर फैक्टर्स कंबाइंड हियर.
Such an enlightening, answer that was, Varnit. And इसी चीज को लेकर जो कुछ पीछे से हम क्वेश्चंस पूछे जा रहे हैं फ्रॉम द लास्ट 10 मिनट्स, उसी से रिलेटेड ये पूछना था आपको कि फिर एक और मिथ आती है मन में, जो हम लोगों को अक्सर बताते हुए सुनते हैं कि भाई जिमिंग करोगे, पहले तो जिम ज्वाइन करोगे, फिर जिम छोड़ दोगे तो बहुत मोटे हो जाओगे. दिस इज वन एस्पेक्ट. सेकेंड एस्पेक्ट इज, हाँ जिम ज्वाइन करोगे, वेट्स यूज करोगे, तो वेट से तो आपके मसल्स को और बोन्स को मतलब बहुत डैमेज हो जाएगा, वो अभी नहीं पता चलेगा, तुमको बुढ़ापे में पता चलेगा. सो आई रियली वुड वांट यू टू एनलाइटन आवर ऑडियंस ऑन ऑल ऑफ दिस, एंड आई थिंक इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट.
ओके, सो जिम जाने से बोन पे अगर और मसल पे अगर फ़र्क पड़ता है, अगर प्रॉपरली कोई कर रहा है तो फ़ायदा ही करता है, नुकसान कोई भी नहीं है. यू गेट स्ट्रॉन्गर, मतलब बेटर जॉइंट हेल्थ हो जाती है, स्ट्रॉन्गर बोन्स होते हैं, मसल्स भी स्ट्रॉन्ग होते हैं, आपका पॉस्चर भी इम्प्रूव करता है इफ़ गिवन दैट अगर वो चीज़ ख़राब थी इन द स्टार्टिंग. प्लस ओल्ड एज के साथ एक चीज़ अटैच होती है, सार्कोपीनिया, इफ़ यू हैव हर्ड ऑफ इट, जो कि मसल लॉस थोड़ा थोड़ा कुछ रेट पे होना शुरू हो जाता है एक एज के बाद. सो इफ़ यू डोंट हैव इनफ मसल टू स्टार्ट ऑफ विद, चाहे मेल हो या फीमेल, आई एम नॉट सेइंग मसल बोल रहा हूँ तो डोंट थिंक ऑफ समथिंग एज बॉडी बिल्डर टाइप्स, वैसा नहीं सोचना है. थिंक ऑफ लाइक नॉर्मल हेल्दी लीन इंडिविजुअल, इस तरह का कुछ आप सोच सकते हो. तो अगर थोड़ा सा एक्स्ट्रा मसल है तो इट हेल्प्स, लाइक आपको आपके ओल्ड एज के साथ बोन्स भी थोड़ी सी वीक होती हैं, तो उसको स्ट्रॉन्ग करने का तरीका इज़ लिफ्टिंग वेट्स. तो वेट्स लिफ्ट करने से वो हेल्प करता है। और ये बात जो आपने बोली कि जिम छोड़ने के बाद लाइक हो जाता है कि वेट गेन कर लिया, इस तरह के जो इंसिडेंट होते हैं, सो वहाँ पे मोर और लेस यही होता है कि जब आप जिम ज्वाइन करते हो तो आप पूरा डेडिकेटेड होते हो, आप अच्छे से खा रहे होते हो, प्रॉपर रूटीन फॉलो करते हो। जिम छोड़ते ही आपकी सारी पुरानी हैबिट्स भी वापस आ जाती हैं उसी के साथ। तो फिर सारा ब्लेम वही चीज़ जिम पे आता है। जो मैंने वही अंडे वाला एग्जांपल दिया कि मैं अंडे खाता हूँ तो कार ने हिट कर दिया मुझे, तो वैसा चीज़ का रिलेशन नहीं है कि मतलब जिम छोड़ा तो वेट गेन हुआ। जिम छोड़ने के साथ साथ पुरानी आदतें भी वापस आई, इसलिए वेट गेन हुआ। मेडिकल कंडीशन असाइड मोस्टली यही रीज़न होता है, क्योंकि पुरानी हैबिट्स और ईटिंग हैबिट जो भी होता है वो सब वापस आ जाता है।
That's amazing. You know, there is a question which a girl has asked, our sweet little student Disha, but I think we can take that question along with the last question, because she asked that how to start up for a beginner if you want to be fit. So perhaps when we are going to ask you the tips, then you can add this also in it. But before we come to that, we have an amazing rapid fire round for you, Varnit, in which we are
Okay.
going to say certain things related to fitness or maybe related to anything, your life also. And then you have to just answer it in one word or one sentence as you like, right? And Nandaji, just can you speak once, because another, somebody on internet, on Instagram said that you are not audible.
I think her screen is
Can
frozen.
you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, but it is coming a little bit broken. Now, do you now speak one more time? I think now you are fine. Uh, we lost you, Nali. Just if you could speak again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but there is a lag on
Now?
Instagram. Yeah, but I can't hear your this thing on Insta. It is actually happening.
Let's
Okay,
try
let me.
again.
Yeah, let me send you. You join in again from Instagram, and let me send you a request. I've sent you request on Insta.
I'm on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You are there. Yeah, could be a
Okay.
network issue, but now we can hear you, I think. Just okay. So let's start with the rapid fire round. It's gonna be fun. So you can unmute yourself, Anil, because now we cannot, go with muting,
Okay.
unmuting, because it
Okay.
has to
Okay.
go
Sure.
rapid fire. So first is keto diet.
So what do I have to tell about it? Like, is it good,
Anything,
bad,
one
or what?
sentence, one word. Your first, thought about keto diet.
Good idea for some, bad idea for some. That's my take on it.
Nandaji.
What about carbs?
Carbs, she said.
Important. You should eat it daily. Like more or less खाना चाहिए. Unless you are diabetic, then control करना चाहिए.
Okay. Good fat, bad fat.
It's not even a question. Good fat ही खाना चाहिए, right?
Okay, sugar-free drinks.
Good idea. Like it's not definitely not bad. इसको काफ़ी demonize किया जाता है, so definitely not bad.
Okay. Your favorite book?
Recently, 48 Laws of Power.
Nice.
Wow. Okay, Team Marvel or Team DC?
Team Marvel.
High five. Organic food.
Overrated.
Water intake?
Like सबको पीना चाहिए. Definitely go drink water. अभी जो भी live देख रहा है, just have some water.
Okay, and
Okay.
weightlifting.
Must do, like हर age group के लिए, even if you're 60 years old you should try lifting some weights, but like proper guidance में.
Okay. Your favorite nutrition tip.
Have some amount of protein every day. That will help you go a long way.
Coach, take
What
it
about
on from
jog?
here.
Yeah. Okay, jogging and age.
Jogging and sorry,
Age,
jogging and
like with
age.
older.
So
Like my mother was asked by the doctor not to run on the treadmill, so that's why.
okay, so yeah, I mean, if someone hasn't run like kabhi bhi life mein, then they just shouldn't just start running on a treadmill. They should just start with walking. Start with walking, very slow, normal walking. Start with that. Maybe even after 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, even after 2 years, you can try to do the slow jogging, given at your pace. Like आप कैसे progress कर रहे हो. So yeah, that's my take.
Okay. And the last one, your favorite quotation.
I might be wrong, but I think it goes something like, "It's a lie to think that you're not good enough." That's the statement.
Amazing.
That is so beautiful. And I think you have given your answers uh, very sensibly, not diplomatic, yet very practical about some of the things that you shared. So, as we are almost at the end of the session, we would like to ask you, request you, that what are the tips that you would like to give our audience? What is it that you would like to share with people who are budding or aspiring to be health coaches or get onto the nutrition field? So, what is the tips that you'd like to leave us with?
Okay, so it would be different advice for both the categories. For people who are trying to get fitter, I would suggest themselves to get aware with the basics terminologies that are being popularized. They should understand even the good and the bad. They should just maybe read about it. The first thing people do is Google. So yeah, just start with Googling things. Start Googling things, you will find something. Or if you find relevant people in that field, just see what they're talking about, see what they're posting about. You don't have to like accept everything whatever someone says. You have to be a little skeptical about what information is being conveyed on the internet, no matter how good or important the source is. You need to have some kind of skepticism attached to everything that you say. So that's one thing I would say. And coming to practical tips, people should start at least walking. Like even if they're not exercising or doing any kind of thing, I highly recommend walking to people. They should walk at least half an hour or 45 minutes per day. Doesn't have to be at a single stretch. Divide 10 minutes walk periods throughout the day and walk. So I would suggest doing that. The third thing is start sleeping properly. Like people don't sleep enough. That's one thing that I am also not proud of. I messed up my sleep routine lately, but like I'm more or less consistent about it. So yeah, people should have a consistent sleep. The number of hours is very dependent from person to person. Some feel good in 7 hours, some feel good at 8 hours. Personally, I feel the best when I have slept for 9.5 or 10 hours. So that's just the way it is. So yeah, people should start sleeping, and if they can perform some kind of weight training or strength training, basically playing around with dumbbells, machines, or resistance band, they should start doing that. I think that would be a very great tool in their arsenal that they can like build upon for the rest of their life. This advice is like for the people who are trying to get a fitter lifestyle, and those who are just beginners. Intermediate might require some different kind of advice. But talking about coaches or health coaches, I have been practicing as a coach for almost 4.5 years now, and in that time I have realized that key it's still a very new field when it comes to the Indian market. I'm not saying it's like totally new, but it's like a lot has to be done, a lot has to be improved, and that's what I'm trying to work towards, like to improve the quality of services and to improve the quality of results that I provide to clients. But like the health coaches should like be very like professional about things, and they should like try to understand people better. They should like actually work with people, preferably in offline terms or system. They should try with training their relatives or their friends, so they just get a hands-on experience on how to deal with clients. Because I started working in a gym for as a personal trainer or floor trainer for 2 years, I had that experience after training close to or interacting close to 200 300 people in those periods. So I got fairly decent at my job, and I've been improving on that. But for the people working in the health industry, they need to be aware what they're trying to sell. Quick money is always going to be appealing for you, and there will be opportunities where you will be making quick money. But I would suggest to take a long hard look on those opportunities and see if it's actually providing some kind of value. Like, making money is not a bad thing, we all have to make money. That's something important, but like, you have to choose your evil as well, like what kind of evil or kind of things that you want to do while getting
True.
that money. So that's what I would suggest to coaches as well.
So beautiful and so nicely explained, you know. And as it is said, the best investment you can ever make is in your own health. And, you know, nothing will happen unless you start working and doing something and taking that first step. I personally love talking to you and love listening to you, Varnit. Otherwise, also when we meet or whenever we have chat, I know that every time when I am conversing with you, I learn something new. Remember, you shared a term, and then I said, "Oh, I googled it and I learned something new today." So, you know, it has been an immense pleasure having you here. And you know, you don't know. I mean, if you have observed or not, hearts पे hearts Instagram पे आ रहे थे, team hashtag team Varnit, and so many things have been there. I'm sure our audience must have learned so much. Nanda ji, what would you like to say to culminate the session?
I think this whole journey of the last hour and a half has made the quote, time and health are two precious assets that we, do not recognize and appreciate until they're depleted. I think this whole hour has been devoted to talking about this as how the timing has to be right, how we need to make sure that we start doing things right at the beginning, and we can rectify a lot of, even health, what you say, diseases, body diseases that may have happened because of lack of awareness. So very, very grateful and appreciative of the sharing that Coach Varnit has done over here today. We've had the audience who has been, chipping in and out of this Insta, because you were giving such beautiful, meaningful, and impactful, practical tips to the audiences. It's been amazing having you over here. And so proud of you, young man. God bless, and hope that you can transform very, very many more lives.
Thank you so much. Like, I felt like that I wanted to speak all these things, but I haven't spoken in a while. So I was just glad when Coach Uzma asked me to like get on with this show. So I was quite excited. I was like thinking out what else can I add, what else can I talk about. So this was definitely like very interactive and interesting for me. And those were really some great questions that you guys asked. Like, it helped me like think more, and I like questions that help me like jog my brain a little. So that helps a lot. So yeah, thank you for having me.
We always, as
Thank you so
coaches, share that we are vulnerable and as human as our clients. So these were questions which we have dealt with in our own lives. And that really made us feel that these are pertinent questions which would really add value for and give immense takeaways to the audience. So once again, thank you
absolutely.
so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Varnit. And thank you so much, all the audience. See you next Thursday in episode number 6 with yet another celebrity or somebody who has made it big in the unconventional professions. Bye, everyone.